Hey brothers, this is Rick Scorpio here again. I wanted to discuss a topic I've been meaning to discuss for a long time, and that is in regards to black men looking for foreign women. You know, I salute you brothers who try that route, you know. It awakens you to a much bigger world around you. A lot of brothers are not used to having women who look you in the eye when they're talking to you, especially good-looking women. They're not on their cell phones talking, they're not looking the other way, they're not rolling their eyeballs and try to see how hard your game is. It's either they like you or they don't. It's also breathtaking to see women who actually do look like women. None of this butch dyke stuff you see all over America these days. Decent black men really have little options but to try foreign women, if you ask me. The situation with most American women these days are almost hopeless. It's only getting worse as time goes on. You got the brothers from the Black Power movement who say you need to stay here and fight the system, put these women back in check. Well, it's a much bigger force than that. You got racism, feminism, black feminism, which is an offshoot of racism that undermine black men. And then you have these emasculated black men, all they care about is getting sex and nothing else. Everything else is cool after that. American black women in particular do not want to learn to respect good black men. We don't have to get into any serious examples about that. It's all over the YouTube for reference. I've even had black women admit to me that white women treat black men better overall than the black women do. A lot of black women are quick to use this old lame excuse as slavery being the reason as why there is this dysfunction between black men and black women. None of these women were slaves, neither were their grandmothers, so what's the real excuse, black woman? 400 years is not the cause of the problem. It's you. You just don't want to learn to respect good black men. You respect white men and even the bum niggas, but not the good ones. Brothers, when you go overseas, you need to learn the culture and the language of the woman. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to focus on the Latin American region. You need to learn two major languages. You need to either learn Portuguese if you're going to Brazil, or Spanish if you're going to the other Spanish-speaking countries. You'd be surprised how many men show up on these countries and cannot communicate with the women. In many cases, a lot of these guys end up with some undesirable women. Some of them are even prostitutes, and the reason why, he never really knew what he was getting. He couldn't really speak with her to find out what she was really about. Another thing, brothers, and this is extremely important, you need to research racism in these women's country. You know, there are many Afro-Latinos, many Afro-Brazilians who, by outward appearance, you know, you may find to be stunning, beautiful women. You'd be surprised that many of them don't want to keep it brown. A lot of them have this mentality, what they call blanqueamiento, which means whitening of the offspring. A lot of them are very serious with it. These people are mixed, and they're mixed for a reason, because in many cases they're trying to erase all their blackness. So you need to be aware of it. You'd be surprised that the women who might be more receptive towards you are actually maybe the more whiter looking ones and not the beautiful black ones that you went to look for in the first place. Also, brothers, you need to be aware of what these women do for entertainment. A lot of these women, they like to go out and socialize. They like to go to the beach. They love their salsa music. They love the samba. All this Lil Wayne and Waka Flocka hip-hop crap, they're not down with it. It's like alien music to them. So you're going to have to adapt to her culture and what she likes. It doesn't hurt to take a salsa class or two. Brothers, you got to choose wisely. And when I say brothers, I'm specifically talking to black men. Non-black men, particularly white men, they already have it made. They just got to show up in these countries. This could be the same white guy that's changing the tires on your Mercedes-Benz, who he will get much more love than you will get just because he's white. Don't be afraid to ask these women questions about what their intentions are, why they're talking to you, or why they're, you know, just seemingly so in love with you. A lot of these women may have, you know, underlying intentions that it may not be good in your interest. Be very careful of these dating sites. You will see some very beautiful women on these sites saying all the right things to lure you in. They're looking for a good man. You know, the local men, you know, they're nothing but dogs and all. all they want is just to start a family with a good Christian guy. Be careful. I've known some guys who have went out to some of these same countries and have met some of these same women on these dating sites. Come to find out, they're prostitutes. Another thing is, avoid women who want to live in areas of the United States where they have many of her kind. If you're dealing with like a Brazilian or a Colombian woman, just for example, and you hear her start talking about, oh, she loves Miami, New York City, or Boston, you might want to keep it moving. For all you know, she might have an ex-boyfriend that's already made it to the United States, and you're the tool that she's going to use to make it up there once you bring her up there. I've known people who have brought women back over here, and after that 6 months mark, you know, when she gets her green card, she's out the door. He gets a phone call to hear that she's in Miami or New York or somewhere else with some guy that, you know, just magically appeared out of nowhere. Nah, she knew who the hell this guy was. She was just waiting for the right moment to go. Also, whenever you start hearing obvious talk about a green card, well, you need to keep it moving because she's letting you know right there that she's planning on using you. Alright, you brought her home. Now what do you do? Does she want to work or does she want to sit at home? A lot of women, you know, they have this far-fetched idea that money grows on trees in America. The streets are paved with gold. That's not the case, as we all know. Can you afford to take care of this woman? What if she doesn't want to work? You know, it's pretty expensive just living by yourself as it is. Can you take care of another woman? You know, and what if you have kids? Can you afford all of that? But it takes a while for these women to get their legal papers to work, and then there's a language barrier. She might not be able to get a job because she can't communicate properly in English. And another thing, do not, and I repeat, do not immerse these women into the Afro-American female culture. Now, most of us black men, you know, we tend to live in black areas. However, it's very dysfunctional, it's very complicated, and very destructive to bring a foreign woman into the American black woman culture. She may not understand why you have black men and black women in each other's throats. This problem goes back for like 2-3 generations now. Don't do that to her. Don't do that to yourself. Make any excuse to avoid bringing this woman's relatives to America with her. I've heard stories that, you know, these women that marry American men try to sponsor to bring so-called brothers and cousins over. Turns out these are not these women's relatives. They're actually old lovers of these women. So you guys to be careful. You know, I commend you brothers for trying. It's better to try than not try at all. All you can say in the end is that you tried to make a difference in your life instead of just sitting around and complaining like, unfortunately, a lot of us black men will do. Here's a fact that many black men don't want to admit, and some of us already know. A lot of us, we may never find the woman that we're looking for. Some of us might very well go to our graves and never find that one woman that we really wanted to. So in the end, brothers, hey, all you can say is that you tried in the end. Rick Scorpio out.